is hitting the button right now.
Okay.
And we're good to go.
All right, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our September meeting. Where did the year go by so quickly?
Right.
The summer is ending, and we have the haze in the skies from the west, you know, all the fires.
Right.
So it's an interesting time of year. I just want to thank all of our staff and our board members for the diligence in putting our materials together for these meetings. We had 240 pages to review, and our folks, staff and board members, are involved in every word of that, of all of those documents. So, and they have them all memorized, I understand. It's just in good shape. But anyway, I want to say thanks to everyone for getting us so well prepared for these meetings. So I think the first is I'll call the meeting to order, and I'll ask for approval of the minutes of our meeting from August 8th. Is there a motion?
So moved, Jay.
Okay, I think I heard Rick and Jay. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So is Kevin Loki on the line to give us our local labor monitoring report?
Kevin, are you with us?
I know he's traveling. He's out west, but he did tell me he was going to call in.
Okay, why don't we come back to that item then? I heard Greg join to review our financial report.
Yes, I am here. Thanks, Ann, and the board staff. So numbers through August. August is typically a slower month for us. As you can see, our statement of financial position continues to remain strong and healthy, although, you know, obviously with COVID and some of the programs that we've committed to, our cash balance, which is our most significant asset, is down from where it was
Joining the meeting.
in January. All these other balances with respect to receivables, prepaids, and accrueds are all timing things that we're taking into account as we go throughout the year. What I really want to focus on is our statement of activities through 8 months, and really look at our revenues and our expenses, and making sure that everyone understands where we're at. That first column is our actual year to date, and then the budget's in the middle, and the last column is where we were a year ago through 8 months. And you can see there's some significant variations in our balances and our accounts and things like that. The most significant one is the revenue, as you can see, is down quite a bit from what we thought we had budgeted, and where we were a year ago. Again, a lot of that has to do with, you know, some timing things. In terms of, you know, what we're looking at over the next 4 months of our year, September through December, I will tell you that we probably have over $1 million of backlog or approved projects that have not closed quite yet. Robin and myself and the rest of the team, we're actually going to try to gain a hand on what that looks like through the rest of the year. Really twofold, I guess. What projects are going to close that are going to affect our current, you know, fiscal year, but also we're in the process of looking at our 2021 budget and what any of that carryover, how's that going to affect our 2021 budget. So again, revenue is down.
Joining the meeting.
COVID related, and maybe
Jackson Palmer with Lifecycle.
And so we're going to continue to monitor that and look for an update next month on maybe some more insight of where revenue is going, you know, kind of projected to kind of play out. In terms of our expenses, like I said, I think everything else is pretty consistent with prior year. You know, we've cut a lot of the sponsorships out that we knew we weren't going to have, events and things that just aren't going on because of COVID. but we try to maintain the expenses to the extent and based on just managing those a little bit more closer to the vest. We, as everyone knows, we've committed $1 million to the emergency loan program that is currently
Joining the meeting.
Kennedy?
So, again, that's where the significant portion of the deficit is coming from. So if you had to kind of summarize the activity, you would say that our cash is down approximately $1.5 million from where it was 8 months ago. Again, to summarize that, 500,000 operation, $1 million in the emergency loan program support program. So again, everything really to be expected. Not, and again, as the next 4 months go on, we do feel that our deficit will reverse a little bit, and hopefully these projects will get closed. We do have a significant number of approvals in the backlog here.
That's good way to know we've got close to $1 million in revenue just hanging out there waiting for us to approve all those projects. So it looks good, and certainly watching our expenses and being active with the emergency loan program support for small businesses. It's been a challenging year, but I think if you look at our finances, we've done a really good job of managing all of that. Are there any questions for Greg? All right, thank you, Greg. We'll move on to our projects, and we have 6 of them today, and then 4 project modifications. So Anna, I'll ask you to kick us off here with, is it life cycle or Lee cycle? I heard Lee on the news last night, and I thought it was life cycle.
It's life cycle, yes. And yes, we're very excited about this project. We've been working on this for a long time, and we're excited to have the life cycle team on with us today. And yes, it was announced by Empire State Development yesterday, which is why it was in the news. So I'm going to go ahead and read the project summary for the board. Life Cycle Incorporated, based in Canada, is proposing to locate its Spoke 2 processing plant at Eaton Business Park in the town of Greece. The Spoke 2 plant will process approximately 5,000 metric tons of end-of-life lithium-ion batteries per year. The process will provide 3 different products from the batteries that can be processed further or sold to third-party facilities. The $2.9 million project is projected to create 41 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemptions only on construction materials, non-manufacturing equipment, and furniture and fixtures. The benefit to incentive ratio is 44:1.
Joining the meeting.
Nick Carlton.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So we have some guests with us to talk about this project. It's their project. I believe it's Jackson Harmer, Ala Hussein, and Dave Kennedy. Do you have any remarks you'd like to make or to elaborate further on the project?
No, I think, Hannah, this is Ellen from Life Cycle here. So thank you for your time. This is greatly appreciated, but I think Anna covered it off pretty well. So we are a recycling venture, and our main goal is to recover resources, metal resources from batteries, lithium-ion batteries. So we're very excited to be in the town of Greece, and we are in the process of planning our construction as well. So this approval and this opportunity for us.
Okay, great. So the ownership is on page 21 for all of us to take a look at. And on page 22, there's quite a lengthy description of the project, which has been in the works for months or maybe years, I guess. So we're delighted to have you in Monroe County and for this very exciting project. And I know Anna has been involved too in her prior role. So we're very excited about this. Do we have questions from the board?
a quick question. Can you give us a perspective on how many folks that you have throughout North America and any that are in close proximity to the location at Eastman Business Park?
I guess in
This
terms
is-
of employment, was that the question?
Go ahead, Ala.
Sorry, was that a question with regards to employment per se, or,
No, just your general
number of
business.
employees?
Yeah.
So we do have,
People, just locations.
So we have a location in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. We actually, that was a facility that was commercialized this year as well amidst the COVID pandemic. So many challenges there, but we do have a facility, and its capacity is similar to the one that we will be implementing in Monroe County. So that will be, it's in the process of operationalizing, and once fully ramped up and ready to go, that will also process approximately 5,000 metric tons of batteries as well. And then this is our second location. So both having same capabilities, and we also have future plans of further expansion with similar types of facilities across North America as well. So that's just kind of in the planning phase. Our head office is located in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, but as you can tell, we have employees that are scattered. We've got Jackson and Dave that are on the Rochester ground for the time being, and then we've got employees in San Francisco as well, and we've got most of them down in Canada.
Thank you.
Also, there are drawings on pages 36 and 37 to show the site location, and then I spoke to look at the actual parcel, 350 and 303. So, all right, are there any other questions from the board or any other comments from the project folks? Okay, hearing none, there was a public hearing held on this project on September 15th. Rachel, were there any comments at the public hearing?
No, there were not.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask you some local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
This is Jackson Palmer. Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
We do not anticipate any at this time.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. The secret process is complete. And now we'll move forward on with the reading of the resolution.
Yes, a regular meeting of the County of Monroe Industrial Development Agency was held at the agency's offices at 50 West Main Street, Suite 1150, Rochester, New
Chair, I
York.
move to waive the reading of the resolution and subsequent resolutions as well.
Thank you, Jay. Is there a second? Is that right?
I second that.
Yeah, okay. Any additional
Hi,
comments,
Joe.
questions on that, on that motion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the sales tax exemption.
I'll motion. This is Joe.
I think Troy got in there before you, Joe, so moved by Troy and seconded by Joe.
Sure.
Any additional questions? Comments? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yay.
Cummings absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. Okay, motion carries. congratulations and good luck. And maybe we can have a tour at some point. When you get,
Thank you very much.
all the facilities.
Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, as I say, for bringing this opportunity to Monroe County.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Anna, this is Van Hook.
Thank you. Van Hook Service Company Incorporated, founded in 1973, provides industrial, commercial, and public sector refrigeration and air conditioning services. VH is proposing to purchase vehicles equipped for technicians at work sites. VH currently employs 85 FTEs and expects to create 4 new full-time positions over the next year to meet demand. VH has been approved for the Great Rate Program through the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation and is seeking approval of the Equa Plus program for the $295,000 purchase of vehicles. The benefit to incentive ratio is 19-1.
Okay, thanks, Anna. I believe we have Michael Van Hook on the line to tell us a little bit more about these vehicles and any additional information you'd like to give us.
Sure. For us, we've done several of these projects in the past. For us in growing the business and hiring and training new employees, the expense of having a vehicle for every single one of our technicians is one of our largest capital expenditures to assist our growth. So it's been a great program for us working with you guys, and we're excited to keep that going.
Great. Any questions from the board? Okay, so there are 6 vehicles altogether, sounds like, and that would be expensive, I'm sure.
Yes.
But sorely needed if you're going to be responsive to customer needs. So, and congratulations to you for, your business was founded in 1973, so you've obviously had great success in this market. So thanks for staying and growing with us. So, any questions from the board? Additional questions? All right, hearing none, we did not need a public hearing on this item. I'd like to ask you, Michael, a few local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes.
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. The seeker process is complete. We have waived the reading of our resolutions tied to each project because they're in our packets and we've read them and have copies of them. So I will ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the sales tax exemption.
So moved, Rhett.
So moved. Jay?
Thank you, Rhett. Second, Jay. Any additional comments, questions? Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony is absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Thank you. Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yay.
Rhett?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay, so motion carries. Thank you. Good luck with those fans.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for coming to us for help. All right, moving on to our third project, Concentric Solutions Corporation. Anna?
Thank you. Concentric Solutions Corporation is a technology-enabled global business services company specializing in customer engagement and improving business performance. Concentric Solutions is proposing to renovate and reconfigure their existing building in the town of Pittsburgh for a more productive use of space. The $900,000 project will impact the current 286 employees
Joining the meeting,
and is projected to
Marianne
create
Bibbing.
65 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemptions only on construction materials as well as furniture and fixtures. The benefit to incentive ratio is 131:1.
Okay, and I believe we have Marianne Bibbings and Marie Enderly with us to tell us a little bit more about this project.
Hi, this is Marianne Bibbings. Nice to meet you. And I also have Marie on the line.
Thank you. Great.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the project entails, we have a budget of $900,000 for renovation at our Rochester site. It'll entail furniture and fixture renovations. And Marie, maybe you can go into some of the more specifics, but basically making this site and renovating it for our employees, and the project timeline looks to really kick off here soon after approval and take us through the end of this year.
Marianne, thank you. This is Marie Enderly. In essence, what we're doing is we're taking our existing facility and we're creating a more modern and state-of-art type of environment so that we can optimize our employee experience. And with that, we think that we will be able to gain some efficiencies in our overall operations. And Marianne's correct. We intend to engage our local architects next week, really hit the ground running and be complete with this project, substantially complete at least, by the Christmas holiday 2020.
Terrific. And can you tell us a little bit more about Cinex, the parent company?
Yeah, so Cinex is our parent company. We're a wholly owned subsidiary. Cinex is headquartered out of California. We are in the process of separating, and Concentrix will become a publicly traded company. And the goal is to have that done by the end of this calendar year. And so we went to the street, I believe it was January of 2020 with that announcement. But then with COVID, there's been some delays, but that is still on track to happen before the end of this calendar year.
Okay. All right, questions from the board? Okay, the public hearing was not required. I'd like to ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
We are.
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
We do.
You do?
We do, yes.
Could you elaborate on that?
So
Marianne,
we have hired, go ahead, Marie, yes, please, thank you.
Okay. In this particular location, we have a data center whereby our operations extend and support other sites and cities, and I don't know what those are off the top of my head. But we are going to, when we talk about bringing the site to be state-of-the-art, we are going to install new electrical infrastructure. That's emergency generation systems, uninterrupted power systems, UPSs, and Concentrix holds us as internal contractors very accountable, and we have strict rules and guidelines and companies that we can engage with so that we make sure that we have no downtime. We protect business continuity through the whole course of the renovation. The company that we hire those very specific type of final tie-in connections, not the general electric installation, wire conduit, putting the equipment in place, all local labor. But when it comes to making that final connection and disconnecting existing systems, to make sure that there is no impact of business continuity,
we engage in North America, both Canada and United States, with a company that is housed in Utah. Now that will be a very, very small amount of the labor exemption that we would file for, but we would file simply so that we could protect our business interest, business continuity in that final connection / cutover.
I see. And what is the name of that company in Utah?
Titan Specialized Services.
Titan, T like Tom, I-T-A-N?
Correct, yes.
Troy, do you have any questions?
That's not a question, it's a concern, yes. Obviously, this is all stuff, I guess I would really like to sit down and fill out the hours that we're talking about. Or is this just something that we could hire Titan to supervise for the people that we're hiring to mount the equipment? I'm always one that if
Joining the meeting.
I'm always one, if I mount I purchase the equipment and I work on the equipment, I want to be there when it fires up too. So I guess we'll talk about this as the application process goes, when we start getting the notification, we'll walk through it together. But obviously, anytime this comes up, it's a concern.
Anne, if I may, this is Rachel.
Yes.
So we did talk to Concentrix about the general contractor out of Utah, which is fine, and we'll of course need to work with Bonadio on the exemption as it applies to the local labor on site for the actual electrical installation. And as Troy points out, we'll have to work through that with Bonadio through the exemption process.
Okay, and so are you aware then that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
We are.
We are. Okay, thank you. The secret process is complete. Are there any other questions from the board on this project? Okay, we're waiving the reading of the resolution. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the sales tax exemption. Is there a motion?
Royal motion.
Thank you, Troy. Is there a second?
Seconded by Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Any additional questions on this motion? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony? Is absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yes.
Rex?
Yay.
Okay, and Ann is yay. So motion carried. Congratulations. Good luck with your project. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, our next project is WeldWorks. Anna?
WeldWorks LLC is a full-service design and metal fabrication company. WeldWorks LLC is expanding its existing facility in the town of Gates to accommodate larger manufacturing equipment and warehousing. The $87,000 project will impact the 4 current employees and is projected to create 2 new FTEs. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemptions only on construction materials, equipment, and furniture and fixtures. The benefit to incentive ratio is 53-1.
Thanks, Anna. Do we have Nick Carlton with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to tell us a little bit more about your project?
Yes, please. Thank you to the members of the board here for hearing me today. Our expansion is moving into a larger facility, as Anna mentioned, to accommodate some new manufacturing equipment that is significantly larger to help us with both volume and capacity. We're taking over an existing warehouse space that is completely empty currently, and it's going to require a lot of infrastructure such as electrical, partition walls, lighting, and with this, we're going to be bringing in several CNC equipment, which will require operators and further training. We're hoping to have the full-time employees on board before the end of the year. And hopefully that'll really take things to another level with us.
That's great. And you are the president and owner of Weldon.
100%. Yes, ma'am.
100% a good position to be in. So, and on page 97, there's additional information on the type of equipment that you will be creating as part of this project, or
yeah, two of the major pieces we're looking to bring in are a large CO2 laser, which will allow us to cut sheet metal goods in precise shape. We currently have a plasma cutter, which is a less accurate version of the same machine. So this allows a much faster process and much more accurate. And then another piece that we're looking to bring in is a larger bandsaw, which will help us to accommodate, again, larger equipment cutting capabilities and also expedite that process much faster.
And what businesses are you supporting with all this new equipment?
So one of them
is general, not specifically, but general in the general industry.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question again then?
I don't need to know specific customers, just generally the type of industry that you're supporting with these.
Oh, that we're supporting. So both local construction and we're also supporting several of the military radio sectors, such as our L3 Harris and Mastodon.
Great. Great. Sounds very sophisticated.
It's fun and interesting all at the same time.
That's good. All right, from the board, do we have questions? All right, hearing none, I will move forward. Public hearing was not required on this project. Are you aware of a local labor policy?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No, we do not.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. The seeker process is complete. We've waived the reading of the resolution. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the city tax exemption. Is there a motion?
So moved. Red.
Thank you, Red. Is there a second?
Seconded, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Any additional questions on the motion? Comments? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony is absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yes.
Brett?
Joining the meeting.
And Ann is a yay.
Peter Landers.
Thank you very much, and good luck to you with this expansion. We'll look forward to hearing more about it in the future. Thanks so much.
Hopefully I'll keep you all posted. Bye now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, our next application is for 850 EB LLC. Anna?
Thank you. 850 EB LLC, a real estate holding company, is proposing to redevelop the vacant aqueduct building in the city of Rochester. The redevelopment plan for the $22 million project includes a mix of office, residential, and lifestyle amenities. There will be 80,000 square feet of office and co-working space, as well as 97 apartments. Most of the apartments will be affordable in the $800 to $1,500 per month price range. Community amenities will include a rooftop terrace, fitness center, high-speed internet, and a food and beverage venue adjoining Aqueduct Park. Phase 1 of the project will be construction of a new 2-level parking ramp to increase parking capacity on site to 160 spaces. It will also include new building entrances and infrastructure upgrades. The total cost for phase
Joining the
one,
meeting.
the total cost for phase one is $4 million. The applicant is seeking an exemption of the sales tax, mortgage recording tax, and a custom 20-year pilot supported by the city of Rochester. The benefit to incentive ratio is 2 to 1.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So I believe we have Peter Landis and Jen Costanza on the line.
Good afternoon, Chair Burr and board members. This is Peter Landers, and with me is fellow partner Jim Costanza, Costanza Enterprises. And we're excited about the opportunity to redevelop the Aqueduct District into a vibrant, mixed-use, live, work, play environment. I think Anna did a great job of summarizing the project. We're here before the board today to request COMIDA benefits for the initial phase of the project, which is primarily the construction of a garage structure, which is strategically necessary to provide on-site parking for the Aqueduct District. We currently only have 47 spaces on site on the current surface lot, and by building this garage structure, we will physically double the number of spaces, and with providing a valet parking service, we will increase the utilization another 30 or 40%. So we see maybe 120 spaces in effective, call it use of the lot. So, so it's critically important that we have the parking to attract office tenants as well as for the residents. As mentioned, the bulk of the residential units will be affordable. We believe that there's an opportunity to create a unique environment here at the Aqueduct that will leverage the Riverway redevelopment along the river. And we also believe that this will be a catalyst for the revitalization of the west side of the riverfront, as we plan to invest up to $18 million over 5 years for the various phases of the project. So with that as some background, is there any questions that the board has?
Marvelous that you're using the old Thomson Reuters aqueduct buildings to actually revitalize that part of downtown and bring new business opportunities, new residential opportunities, and in sync with the city's the Riverway project as well to preserve that. So very, very extensive project, but very, very worthwhile in the city. So, are there questions from the board? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was going to say, Chair, we view it as really an economic development opportunity for downtown. We're hoping that a technology hub will be a big part of this redevelopment, which will create many jobs. So it's really an economic development opportunity for the city and for us as developers.
Absolutely. So, by the way, the ownership of this is on page 122. And also additional information on the various phases on page 123. Are there questions from the board?
Peter, I have a question. When do you see the whole project being done, timing-wise?
That's a hard question to answer, but I think our plan at this point is phase one, which includes putting, call it the infrastructure in place, the garage, as well as infrastructure improvements in the main building to make it more suitable for multi-tenant. Phase one, we envision completing by the end of next year. Phase two would probably overlap phase one. Phase two is buildings 5 and 6, redeveloping those into apartments, as well as the top 2 floors of the main building, which is 6 and 7, into apartments. And we see that happening hopefully in mid-2021, next year, starting that process, or maybe sooner. So it depends on market conditions, but right now that's what we believe is our best estimate of time frame on phase 2. And of course, we want to activate Aqueduct Park. We think it's a great green space in the city, a real gem, and we believe we can create some amenities right around the park. So some of the amenities will come in right away, early on. So in answer to your question, I think that maybe in 3 to 4 years, we should have this project completed. So we're targeting completion year-end 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward. Rachel, there was a public hearing held on September 15th. Any questions?
No, there was no public participation.
All right, thank you. I'll now ask you some local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, we are.
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No, we do not.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Thank you. The seeker process is complete. We're waiving the reading of the resolution. And I'll now ask for a motion for inducement of final resolution approving a 20-year custom real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemption. Is there a motion?
Jay, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Rex. Any additional questions? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Tony, Jay?
Yes.
Tony's absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yes.
Rex?
Yay.
And Ann. Motion carries. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing all of those enhancements in downtown. That'll be a very worthwhile project for Monroe County. So thanks for helping us to grow and revitalize that part of downtown.
Thank you, Chair Burr and board members, for your consideration.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
I like Chair Burr. An important person. Thank you. All right. Okay. Our next project is the Galena Development Corp. Anna.
Thank you, Ann. Galena Development Corporation is acquiring the former 580,000 square foot Xerox Square property in the city of Rochester to create a collaborative, academically focused campus in which students from multiple academic institutions can live, learn, and innovate in an urban environment. The $32.5 million project will house up to 500 upper level and graduate students. Up to 180 residential units, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms will be constructed on 16 floors, excluding floors 14 and 15, which are currently occupied by EFPR Group LLP. The total project cost is $32.5 million. Phase 1 of the project includes acquisition of the property, demolition of 5 floors of office space, construction of 5 floors of student housing units, construction of new building entry and driveway from Broad Street to Chestnut Street, and a new lobby. The applicant is seeking approval of sales and mortgage recording tax exemptions only on phase 1 of the project. The benefit to incentive ratio is 11-1.
Thank you. I believe we have Kurt Sertle with us today.
Yes, Kurt is here, but this is Andy Galena, President of Galena Development. So I'm going to handle this first application, and Kurt will handle the second. So if I may, thank you very much.
We are glad you could join us today.
Thank you, Chairman Burr. Anna did a great job describing the project. I trust that all of you had received our presentation regarding the projects and the images and renderings that we anticipate making to the improvements making to the property.
Yes,
we feel that.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry?
I said, yes, we did. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. I thought that was appropriate to share with you some of the renderings and additional information. There's a lot more in terms of narrative to be shared when we actually present the whole concept of the project, but I think you get the gist between the renderings, images, and also the full general description of the project that you have as well. Once again, we feel very strongly about the transformative nature of this project, the ability to bring students downtown in an academic environment as a collaboration between initially the four institutions that we talked about, RIT, U of R, Nazareth, Fisher. We'll also be engaging with Rockport, Roberts Wesleyan, et cetera, and any other institutions that would want to house students there as well. We hope to close this in the very near future, and we'll start demolition very soon afterwards. The phase one component is the demolition and renovation of the first 5 floors into student housing, which will be floors 13, 12, 11, 10, and 9. In addition to all the site improvements that I think you are now aware of. Phase 2 will, and moving into phase 3 will be additional floors of student housing in addition to 7 floors of high-tech office space that we're going to be offering as well. We feel there's a real market in this arena to bring students downtown that would be able to engage in internships and connect with the local high-tech community as well, of which we all know we have approximately 140 high-tech or creative companies located in your loop. We hope to integrate the synergy between the students with these companies and create not only wonderful opportunities for internships, but hopefully long-term employment. I think that's the overall concept. We will also be reinvigorating the auditorium, getting that going in a host of different areas. I think we've talked about activities in the auditorium involving music, esports, and also academic programming as well to support the colleges and universities participating in this project as well. At this point, there is no real financial commitment from the colleges, but simply a support role in terms of offering students another housing opportunity and hopefully some academic programs being offered at the new downtown campus as well, which we are pointing as Innovation Square. With that, I welcome any questions that you may have.
Do you expect that at some point you will have the investment from the colleges and universities rather than the support, but financial investment?
I can't make that definitive statement right now. We hope that we will, but at this juncture, I think the development of student housing component will be very well received, and I'm fairly certain that we will have many students living downtown a year from now.
Great.
And can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Brett?
So in regards to the question that Ann just asked, could you discuss at all any discussions that have gone on with the local universities about the idea and how it's been received, or if there's been any discussion at all with them?
Yes, there's been lengthy discussions, and there's been a lot of support for the project, and that's why we're here today. Unfortunately, COVID has thrown a wrench in the financial situation or concerns of the colleges, whereby at this point they're not going to make a financial commitment, but we feel that will come back around when the market stabilizes and increases. So yes, the colleges and universities are very, very supportive of this project and would love to have some sort of presence in downtown Rochester to support that whole infrastructure and synergy that we're creating in our center city.
Great opportunity for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there other questions?
Andy, this is Jay Popley. I applaud you for taking on this project. It'd be good to get that building occupied. My question relates to, can you just provide any color on what you anticipate breakdown of graduate versus undergrads, and then how you would expect to see it divided among those 4 institutions you talked about? Or is it more just first, kind of first come, first serve type of thing?
It is, we will have a criteria for acceptance into the project, and we will start with seniors and grad students. One of the biggest things is, remember, all 4 of these institutions that we're talking about initially have on-site housing of their own. This will not be in competition with their on-site housing. So if you think about seniors and grad students, most of those students in our community that go to these colleges are living off campus anyway. So it's an opportunity to collect them and put them in a central location, whereby they can all interact and collaborate and create what we call academic collisions in terms of various students with differing degrees and backgrounds being able to collaborate on projects and interests as well that they may not have been able to experience on their home campuses. The other thing we're going to be doing is providing a whole host of amenities, including all the usual fitness center and transportation, all these things, but also soundproof practice rooms for musical students, and a whole host of things that we'll be talking about in the very near future.
I take it the universities will be providing transportation to and from this facility to their campuses?
Our hope is that the U of R already has a transportation system, that this will become a stop for them. So that is a fairly simple accommodation. We also hope that RIT will be able to have their bus that they run right now from downtown to this campus as a stop, and also running back out to Henrietta. That's our hope, yes.
Thank you.
Andy, just thinking outside of the box, it's just Troy Mill.
Yes.
I know that we've been struggling here locally to retain these graduates once they get their degrees, and at one point there was a discussion of California putting bounties on trying to recruit. Would we offer an extension of a lease after graduation if these students do land a job here in Rochester, and just to help them out? Would there be options to stay for a little longer until they get established? I'm just thinking out of the box. I'm just thinking out loud, but I love this idea.
I appreciate the comment, and the answer is yes. There are a lot of accommodations we're talking about. We're also talking about business incubators and accelerators, whereby we would be bringing young entrepreneurs on campus that may want to live right there as well. So if they're activated in the business incubator, they would have the ability to live on campus too.
So yes, there's a number of options that I believe will present itself as we get these first 5 floors up and running. And I think I just hope I hope we'll be pleasantly surprised with the reception that we receive from the market.
Thank you.
COVID, like you say, is thrown a bit of a wrinkle in, for all the schools, and hopefully we'll get beyond that quickly, because it sounds like a terrific project for downtown and reuse of, a very large facility in downtown, and calling it Innovation Square, and incorporating our local universities in that effort, their students. I think Troy's is on to something there, that hopefully these folks will be a captive audience, and will bring in new businesses, and they will provide talent to existing businesses in the Rochester community. So I think the universities are a little sidetracked right now with COVID, just trying to open
Right.
schools, but we'll put a balance on that. Any other comments you'd like to make?
And one more, this is Red. This is the kind of project that's going to marry academe and our business community and help keep New Yorkers in New York. So I think it's a very worthwhile project, and I hope that COVID-19 goes away so that we can move on in the future.
Well, thank you. That's really our impression. As all of you know, we are very much vested in downtown, and life and viability and sustainability is very important to us as a firm and all of our employees. So this is an extension of that investment in downtown. As we looked at this project, we had an interest in the tower for a number of years since it went dark, but we recognized that this is a redevelopment project that we could not undertake under the same rules, the same old market rate apartments, offices. Our office market is a bit weak right now. So yeah, we had to change it up and think of a new concept, and based on some successes in other communities, we feel strongly that this is a wonderful option. And going back to the concept of keeping students here and creating a seamless opportunity for them to not only get a great education here, but a great job as well is very important, and that will shore up our, as I say, our infrastructure downtown. And I'm very optimistic about the concept and what will happen. The other thing that's very interesting is, we're all stuck in COVID, but during this time period of construction, that demolition and construction is not going to hurt us too much, because I hope, our hope is that by next spring, this will all be behind us, and we'll be returning to a sense of normalcy for student housing and our college campuses. So that's when we'll be finishing our construction, and we'll be coming out of COVID. So that's what our hope is as well. So the timing is, we feel is well timed. Thank you.
And what is your timing for the various phases?
We will start the development of the first 5 floors of student housing, floors 13 down to 9. Very soon, with demolition and construction, we hope to have those 5 floors ready for occupancy next August. And during that time period, we'll be doing site improvements during that same 1-year time period. We will be moving on to the additional 10 floors in year 2, and also renovation to office space during that time period as well, based on market conditions and demand.
And that's phase 2?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's the timetable for that?
Probably 3 years, within 3 years.
I see. Okay. All right. Are there other Questions from the board? All right, there was a public hearing held on this project, September 15th. Rachel, any comments in the public hearing?
No, there were no public comments.
Thank you. Andy, are you aware of our local labor policy?
We certainly are.
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No exemptions at this point. We intend to use local labor.
Okay, great. Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, we are.
Good. The seeker process is complete. We are waiving the reading of the resolution. We all have those resolutions in our packets. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the mortgage recording tax and sales tax exemption.
I'll make the motion, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Is there a second?
Royal second.
Troy, thank you. Any questions on the motion? Comments? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony is absent. Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Joe?
Yeah.
Brett?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. Motion carries. Congratulations, Andy, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Enormous effort, and we appreciate all that you're doing to revitalize downtown.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. All right, now we're going to move on to our project modifications. We have 4 of them. The first one is Panorama Landing. Anna?
Thank you. Panorama Landing LLC, or PL, a Galena real estate development company, received board approval in April 2016 for a $9,935,000 redevelopment project in the former Washington Drive-In Theater site in the town of Pittsburgh. The approximately 21-acre site is being developed into a new business park with 5 single-story office buildings. In November of 2018, Panorama Landing received a renewal of the sales tax exemption on the remainder of Phase 1 as the approval had expired. In June 2020, the applicant received an increase in the amount of the mortgage to $2,800,000, which results in mortgage reporting tax savings of $21,000. The applicant is now requesting an additional increase in the mortgage to $3,200,000, an increase of $3,000 in mortgage reporting tax savings.
Okay, so I believe Kurt is going to comment on this modification.
Yes, good afternoon. Kurt Sertle here. Chairwoman Burr, board, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. As Anna said, this is a slight modification to the June approval for Phase 1 financing on buildings 957 and 959 Panorama Trail South, which are the second and third buildings in this project. They're partially leased. U of R is now in and paying, and the Whitney company space is being built out and will be occupied in 45 days on November 1st. Since the June approval, the property was appraised. The appraisal came in quite a bit higher than we anticipated, and thus we're looking to increase our borrowing on this Phase 1 of the project from $2.8 million to $3.2 million, and thus the request for the increase in the mortgage tax waiver.
Okay, are there questions from the board on this modification?
Kurt, what drove the increase in the appraisal? This is Jay.
Hey Jay, how you doing? The increase in the appraisal was basically based on an increased NOI and a lower cap rate drove the value up than what I had underwritten here in the office.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we will waive the reading of the resolution, and I'll now ask for a motion to approve an increase in the mortgage recording tax exemption. Is there a motion?
So moved, Brad.
Thank you. Is there a second? Is there a second on the motion? Okay.
I'll second it, Jay.
All right, thank you, Jay. Any additional comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. Okay. Opposed?
No, Jay.
All right. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, our next modification is Rotork Controls, Inc. Anna?
Thank you. Rotork Controls Incorporated is a UK privately owned manufacturing company with an established facility in Rochester, New York since 1979. The company manufactures actuators which provide flow control of gases or fluids for the oil, gas, power, and water industries. In efforts to consolidate manufacturing functions within North America, Rotork is expanding their existing facility in the town of Gates. The project was originally approved in November of 2019.
Joining the meeting.
For a job plus property tax abatement and sales tax exemption. The applicant is seeking an increase in project costs of $750,000 for the purchase of additional equipment to accommodate future growth. The applicant is also seeking an extension of the sales tax exemption through June 30th, 2021.
Any questions on this? Do we have any representatives with us to elaborate further on it? I think Paul Gardner.
We do. Okay. This is Paul Gardner. I'm with HB Cornerstone. I'm the owner's rep for Rotork Controls. And as Anna had laid out, we were previously approved for 10.6, with an expiration date of the end of this year. Due to COVID scheduling and also our plans to purchase additional equipment, which will service customers internationally. We'd like to expand the project total as well as extend the expiration to, end of June next year.
Do we know about the additional equipment? What that is?
Sure. It's a paint plant, so they'll be doing a conveyor painting system for their equipment to be, which is the utilities industry around the world. And that should be installed Q1, Q2 of next year. Then there's also some additional manufacturing equipment, somewhat yet to be determined, but also that same timeframe.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions on this modification for Rotork? Hearing none, I'll waive the reading of the resolution and ask for a motion to approve an increase and extension of the sales tax exemption through June 30, 2021. The motion?
Royal motion.
So moved, Jay.
Okay, Troy first and Jay, second. Any additional comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Good luck with the continued project.
Thanks very much, Chair Barr.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, yeah, bye.
All right, the next application is 125 Howell Street LLC.
Thank you. 125 Howell Street LLC, a real estate holding company, is constructing 5 market-rate 4-story townhome rental units in the city of Rochester. The project was approved by the board in July of 2019 for mortgage recording tax exemption, sales tax exemption on construction materials, and the jobs plus property tax abatement on the increase in assessment due to renovation. The applicant is seeking an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31st, 2021, as the closing on the purchase of land was delayed.
Thank you. I don't believe we have a representative with us on this.
No, we do not.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward with the motion, and we're going to waive the reading of the resolution. Ask for a motion to approve an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31, 2021. Is there a motion?
Or a motion.
Thank you, Troy. Is there a second by Jay? Any additional questions on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, our last modification is Sibley Mixed Use LLC. Anna?
Thank you, Ann. A custom pilot agreement was approved by the board in 2012 to redevelop the former Sibley's department store in the city of Rochester. Sibley Mixed Use LLC, a wind development company, is redeveloping the building, which includes retail space on the first floor as well as 96 units of mixed income housing on floors 9 through 12. This portion of the project was approved by the board in May of 2016 for mortgage recording tax exemption and sales tax exemption, and was approved for an extension of the sales tax exemption in April of 2019. The applicant is seeking an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31st, 2021, as renovations are ongoing. In addition, the project is seeking approval for 2 new tenants, Rufus by the Cub Room LLC and Rochester Commissary LLC.
Okay, and I don't believe we have a representative here to talk to this item, correct?
No, we do not.
Okay. Are there questions from the board on this? So we're approving both the sales tax extension and the 2 new tenants. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Seconded, Lisa.
Okay. I think we had a couple of folks there join in on that second. Lisa says second. Any additional comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The extension, hearing none, motion carries. All right. So that concludes our project, and we need to go back and did Kevin Lucky join?
No, we did not hear him join. We don't see him on the call.
Does anybody have a copy of that report, or should we just hold this over till our next meeting? Or send it to the board members?
Kevin can give a report at next month's board meeting for both months, if the board's okay with that.
Yeah.
Great.
That would be. Okay, so next item is the governance committee report. Jay?
Thank you, Ann. We had a meeting of the governance committee yesterday for the purposes of reviewing a equitable pay policy. It's similar to a policy that was implemented in Erie County, and we recommended that we move it to the board for full adoption by COMIDA.
Okay, thank you. Anna, do you want to elaborate a little? Pardon?
Yeah. I said, I'm sorry, Ann, I don't know if the board members have a copy of the policy in their package.
They do.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll just give a little bit of color commentary. The pay equity policy that we are asking the board to adopt is pretty straightforward. Rachel worked on finessing the language. County Executive Bello in August issued an executive order mandating that any employer seeking to do contractual business with the county government sign off on a pay equity certification. And he's also in the process of establishing a Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion within his administration. That department would bear any responsibility of monitoring our policy, providing us with any feedback. So essentially we're asking project applicants who apply for and receive incentive benefits after January 1, 2021, requiring that they must, certifying that they are in compliance with all state and federal laws governing equal pay for females and males for the same job position. And again, any compliance activities would fall upon the county under the chief diversity officer, who's yet to be brought onto the team there. This is a reflection of values more so than, it's not going to be a burdensome undertaking for staff.
It is on page 239 of our packet. Any questions on this? It's very appropriate to be supportive of this.
Thank you. Yes, the MCIDC board adopted this policy at their meeting last week. And the county executive plans to issue a statement thanking both boards as well.
Okay, great.
So,
all right.
Anna, this is Troy. So without doing like a certified payroll, are we now going to ask any company that received an incentive to supply us with payroll? Because at the bottom it says if we need a staff to have reasons. How do we get that data to mill through, I guess, my question.
So no, we're not asking applicants to provide us with that information at the outset. Applicants would be, as part of the application, required to submit an equal pay certification form, which would certify compliance with all applicable equal pay laws at the state and federal levels. And the compliance monitoring would be an undertaking by the county's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and it would be a process by which that office would ask applicants to self-report on a random selection basis, similar to what goes on in Erie County. We had conversations with Erie County about this and how they administer the policy, and they've had no issues with compliance.
So it could also be triggered by a complaint?
Yes, it could be triggered by a complaint. Right now, the state of New York We have some of the most stringent equal pay legislation on the books in the United States, right up there with the states of Washington, California, and Colorado. And the way the State Department of Labor monitors it is through employee complaints. They have to actually file a complaint with the New York State Department of Labor.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Okay, the governance committee has met, and they recommend to the full board that we adopt the pay equity policy. Thank you, Jay. And now I'll ask for a motion to adopt the pay equity policy as presented.
Royal motion.
Thank you, Troy. Is there a second?
Second. Brett.
Brett? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Anna, we have Genesee Country Village and Museum program request. It's on page 240 in our packet on page 240.
Thank you, Anne. Just to preface this, I wanted to adopt a regular practice at board meetings whereby I bring to the attention of the board program support requests that come to us on somewhat of a random basis, where organizations ask for funding to support an event or acquisition of equipment, et cetera, so that the board is in the loop on COMIDA's involvement in community development. So the Genesee Country Village and Museum had come to us, I believe, is this the second year? This is the third year that they've requested financial support from COMIDA for their annual agriculture fair. This year it's happening on Saturday, October 3rd and Sunday the 4th. They are planning still to have an in-person event. The fair is a celebration of the harvest and provides members of the community to learn about the history of agriculture in Greater Rochester and Western New York. And it provides COMIDA and the Department of Planning and Development an opportunity to engage our area food and beverage processors, manufacturers for their participation in our booth presence. And it's also afforded us the opportunity to work with smaller micro enterprises in that sector, such that we're able to cultivate relationships with the businesses at that micro enterprise stage and maintain connections and hopefully ferry them into a state of growth as they continue to scale up. And we're now asking nonprofits and other entities that ask for support to fill out an application process that indicates how their request aligns with COMIDA's mission and statutory obligations, including whether or not programs create or support jobs and provide for workforce training and in general support the growth of the area economy. So the Genesee Country Village and Museum has let us know that they retain, this support allows them to retain their 45 FTEs and 120 seasonal staff, and indicated that the museum is one of the largest employers in Wheatland. And again, the fair creates opportunities for new and emerging food and beverage producers to market themselves. So this is an ask for $5,000, and COMIDA's logo and the county seal would be displayed as a supporting sponsor. Does anybody have questions?
Okay, sounds like that took care of it. Thanks, Anna.
Of course.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the $5,000 contribution to the 2020 Agricultural Fair at the Genesee Country Village and Museum. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, Ann, it's Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Is there a second?
Brett.
Then Brett, all right. Any other questions on this? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. There does not have any other discussion items. Our next meeting will be held on October 20, 2020. Sounds like a magical day. And I guess we still will probably plan to do this by conference call, by executive order until we hear otherwise.
Yes, most likely that will be the case.
Okay, are there any other items to come before the board today? If not, thank you all for joining, and I will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thanks, everyone. You too.
Thank you.